South Korea and the United States agree to form a stronger front against North Korea. The regime is as unpredictable as ever. The father and grandparents of Super Junior's Lee-tuk were found dead in their home. Police are investigating. And a Buddhist painting dating back to the Joseon dynasty and absconded to Japan during the colonial era has returned to its rightful home. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Wednesday, January 8th. I'm Luke Clary. South Korea and its ally, the United States, have agreed to form a stronger front against North Korea in light of unpredictable moves from Pyongyang, including the purge of Jang Song-thaek.
South Korean Foreign Minister Byung-se met with U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry in Washington D.C. to discuss North Korean issues. They agreed to set up a comprehensive set of measures and further boost bilateral cooperation in order to brace against any instability within the regime and also to deal with North Korea's nuclear ambitions. The two ministers thus decided to set up a standing consultative system, which includes bilateral summits and ministerial meetings.
We decided to intensify our consultations to assess the North Korean situation and explore our policy options.
It has become increasingly difficult to predict what the North will do, since with the execution of Jang Song-thaek, the possibility of provocations remains high. Therefore, South Korea and the U.S. will work together by conducting joint military exercises. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon also noted the thorny situation and the need for proactive measures. He said he's ready to do what he can to build trust on the Korean peninsula.
정확한 역사 인식을 바탕으로 해서 미래를 지향하는 지도자들의 정치적인 결단, 정치적인 해안 이런 것이 절대로 필요한 때라고 이렇게 생각합니다.
He also requested South Korea, China, and Japan's collaboration in creating an accurate historical understanding.
The government is preparing the quick implementation of its economic plans for the new year, a 3-year roadmap to innovate the economy outlined by the president.
The first meeting of economy-related ministers was held in the new year. Deputy Prime Minister Hyun Oh-seok says 2014 will be the year that marks the start of the Korean economy's great leap forward. To this aim, the government will prepare by the end of February concrete measures to implement the 3-year plan to revamp the nation's economy. The action plan will center on the 3 strategic goals of establishing a sturdy economy, creating a dynamic and innovative economy, and achieving a balance in imports and exports. The master plan will also include growth targets for each year and execution strategies. The average annual growth target is around 4%. Assuming consumer prices rise 2% and the exchange rate drops about 1.5% a year, the government aims to build the foundation for achieving a $30,000 in per capita income within President Park Geun-hye's term in office and reaching the $40,000 mark by 2020. For this to happen, the Korean economy must drastically change its fundamentals.
원화 강세의 충격을 이겨내고 그리고 새로운 성장 동력이 될 수 있는 서비스 산업의 고급 부가가치화와 같은 질적 변화가 필요하다고 봅니다.
The government will also ease various regulations to swiftly realize such qualitative changes.
The fallout from last year's nuclear power scandal goes international. New revelations show that substandard parts used in the construction of nuclear reactors were not only coming from domestic origins.
3 overseas control valve parts from forged test results used to build Kori Reactor 1 were confirmed to have come from a U.S. firm. For Wolseong Reactor 1, which is currently not in operation due to a checkup, it was also confirmed that 6 valves were derived from the U.S., whose quality documentation was fabricated. The Board of Audit and Inspection looked into about 10%, or some 180 of the total 1,800 supply deals worth over $9,400 the Korea Hydro and Nuclear Power Companies signed with foreign firms between 2008 and 2010. Fraud was discovered in 8 cases. The parts in question were supplied to 4 reactors, Kori 1 and 4, Wolseong 1, and Hanul Reactor 1. The Nuclear Safety and Security Commission says there's no issues with safety as the foreign-made parts have no direct impact on the reactor. But in 18 of the forged test result cases found by the audit board, the supplier had discontinued doing business or is refusing to respond to the charges. Even getting a simple contact number is difficult, complicating the process.
외국 업체의 부품에 대해서는 사각지대에 놓여 있었던 거죠. 안전등급 부품의 상당량이 시험 성적서가 위조된 것도 모르는 상태에서 지금 가동하고 있다고 보면 될 것 같습니다.
Based on the audit board's inspection outcome, the Safety Commission will determine the target and scope of their investigations into overseas reactor parts.
Sad news from the world of K-pop. The father and grandparents of Lee-tuk, leader of the idol group Super Junior, were found dead in their home Monday morning. Police suspect a murder-suicide.
This is the apartment building where lead singer for Super Junior Lee-tuk's 57-year-old father and grandparents lived. His grandparents were discovered on their bed, lying side by side, while his father was found to have hung himself in the apartment. The police tentatively concluded that Lee-tuk's father strangled his parents first and then took his own life.
할머니, 할아버지, 아드님 이렇게 살아요. 그냥 연세 드신 분들인데 되게 이렇게 다정하시구나 그 정도가 알았어요.
The police discovered a suicide note in which Lee-tuk's father wrote, "I will take my parents with me." Lee-tuk's father had divorced his wife 15 years ago and has been supporting his parents by himself since then. Both the 84-year-old grandfather and 79-year-old grandmother have been suffering from senile dementia for years. The elderly woman was even diagnosed with late-stage lung cancer last year. The father's trade business also suffered, leaving them destitute. There is speculation that he made the fatal choice the day before he was to admit his elderly parents to a nursing facility.
자기가 이제 이렇게 하는 사업도 잘 안 되고, 이제 뭐, 혼자 이렇게 모셔야 되는 그런 어려움도 있고, 하다 보니까 이제, 우발적으로 이렇게.
Lee-tuk, who had started his military service in October 2012, reportedly took a leave from his post to attend the funerals Monday night.
A Buddhist painting dating back to the Joseon dynasty and absconded to Japan during the colonial era has returned to its rightful home after 100 years in Japan and the U.S.
This is a Joseon-era painting of a seated Buddha flanked by two monks. But the two students in front of the preaching Buddha seem to be having an amusing conversation of their own. Such brashness has never been portrayed in Buddhist paintings before. Authorities have confirmed that this piece, which spans over 3 meters wide, was taken to Japan during the colonial period, although exactly how remains unclear. The overall color tone changed since Japanese restorers applied Japanese paint, and the part where the date and historical account were written down has been partially damaged from layering on different fabric. After it was sent to the U.S., the painting was seized as Japanese property during World War II and had been stored in a museum.
수장고 천장에 동그랗게 말려서 약 40년 넘는 동안 그렇게 이제 사실상 방치되어 보관이 되어 왔다는 거죠.
The unconventional Buddhist painting returned to Korea after 100 years thanks to support from an American gaming company. The painting, which faced its own long and hard exile both in Japan and the U.S., has finally come back to its rightful place.
Admissions into exclusive foreign language high schools will be further tightened from next year. The process has been under scrutiny in light of admissions irregularities.
These are the application essays of students who were trying to gain admissions into foreign language and international high schools last year. Parents' occupations and the applicants' award records are not allowed to be included in the letter. Those who revealed this type of information only had points taken off from their score. This is because the schools were allowed to decide how the penalty points would be distributed.
일부 학교에서는 사교육을 받던 어쨌든 성적이 좋은 학생, 또 소위 말해서 스펙이 좋은 학생을 뽑는 그런 경향이 있었습니다.
However, this will change from next year. If applications include a TOEIC score or other competitive award records, the school must automatically grade the student's interview score as 0. Students will also get over 10 percentage points off if they implicate in any way their parents' economic or social status. The Education Ministry will also shorten the letter length to half of what it is now to ease the students' burden in completing the foreign language school admissions applications. But unlike from what was expected, the students' 9th grade scores will be submitted not as an absolute score, but rather a relative score. Some point out this has rather increased the students' burden to get good grades.
중3 내신 이제 단 한 차례에 의해서 뱀벨기 좌우될 수밖에 없습니다. 그래서 오히려 학생들의 내신 부담은 오히려 강화되었다 이렇게 볼 수 있을 것 같습니다.
The ministry will hold an annual inspection on the special purpose and independent private high schools to see whether there is any corruption in their admissions process. Serious violations could put the school at risk of losing its license.
The International Consumer Electronics Show has kicked off in Las Vegas. Korean electronics makers are catching the eyes of consumers with their innovative televisions that bend and curve.
The International Consumer Electronics Show is the world's largest and has opened in Las Vegas. Korean companies took the spotlight, unveiling the world's first bendable televisions. A once flat screen can be curved with a push of a remote control button. Unlike existing curved screen televisions, this one from Samsung Electronics enables users to adjust the screen's angle according to their needs. Its resolution is 8 times higher than that of regular HD TVs.
85인치 밴더블 TV를 시장에 내놓음으로써 향후 UHD TV 시장을 선도해 나가도록 하겠습니다.
LG Electronics, for its part, released a curved ultra-high-definition television screen that uses organic light-emitting diodes. It has a wide range for color reproduction, while its screen images remain intact even while the screen is bent. The ultra-high-definition TV market is expected to grow more than 6-fold this year compared to 2013, thanks to the Winter Olympics and the World Cup. Other noteworthy products at the International Consumer Electronics Show include diverse wearable smart gadgets, as well as smart home appliances and car technologies that are compatible with them. More than 3,200 companies from around the world are taking part in the show this year. It will run until January 10th and will likely draw more than 150,000 visitors.
In today's entertainment news, popular girl bands are reaching out to their fans in more ways than ever.
The music group Girls' Day is known for its popular feather dance. Recently, its members held a special fan meeting at a tteokbokki eatery in Seoul. To mark the group's 3rd anniversary, the members treated their fans to 300 servings of tteokbokki, a spicy rice cake dish. Another popular girl group, Crayon Pop, also held several fan meetings featuring food in a bid to bond with their fans.
대한민국 주권은 국민에 있고 모든 권력은 국민으로부터 나온다. 서울대 내 상고 출신.
The movie The Attorney has drawn more than 8 million viewers so far and is expected to hit the 9 millionth mark this coming weekend. The Attorney is a story about late President Roh Moo-hyun's younger years when he was a civil rights lawyer. The movie drew 8 million viewers 6 days faster than Avatar.
Midwinter is the peak season for trout fishing. Revelers in Pyeongchang, Gangwon Province are celebrating the tasty fish with a winsome festival. Pyeongchang, Gangwon Province becomes a wonderland in the winter. This fish sculpture carved from snow grabs a lot of attention at the Pyeongchang Trout Festival. Trout is known to taste best in January, so this festival runs until early February. The festival attracts a huge crowd with the snowy vista and trout fishing. Trout fishing is a fun and exciting activity for all ages. The Ode Stream in Pyeongchang in particular is known as a great spot for ice fishing. The ice here is over 30 centimeters thick. It's perfectly safe for all of these people to stand here. The trout was first introduced to Korea 50 years ago, and Pyeongchang is the site of the first trout farms. Raised in the region's sparkling water, Pyeongchang trout are famous for their firm texture. And look at the size of this fish. At the festival, trout are released every 30 to 40 minutes, so no one has to go home empty-handed. The water under the ice is teeming with trout. There seems to be enough here for everyone, even beginners. So, just how many are released?
한 85톤에서 90톤 정도 얼음 낚시 대방객들을 위해서 방류를 하고 있습니다.
Catching trout is easy. Just drop the fishing line into the water and gently bob the lure up and down. It's a piece of cake even for children and beginners.
고기도 잘 잡히고 이 얼음 울산에 같은 데는 이렇게 얼음 낚시할 만한 데가 없거든요. 남쪽인 사람들한테는 아주 이색적이죠.
These people are waiting to catch trout with their bare hands. It's a totally different fishing experience. Clad in short sleeves and shorts, they brave the freezing temperatures for the day's catch. Stamping on their feet, they look more than ready to jump into the cold water. One brave man jumps into the water to kick off the trout catching event. Amid the frenzy, the fish flingers toss their bounty out of the icy water one after another. Catching fish by hand is clearly exhilarating. Freshly caught trout can be sampled on site. So how does it taste? Baked trout is just as popular as raw trout, seasoned with salt and wrapped in aluminum foil before it's cooked on a specially built oven. After a few minutes, the trout is juicy and steaming. After you've had your fill of trout, it's time to work off those calories. At the festival, people can enjoy a variety of winter sports. This is the wintertime variation of river water rafting. Riders let out hoots of excitement as they whiz across the snowy surface, pulled by a snowmobile. The festival offers a wide range of fun experiences, from trout fishing to sledding and ice rafting.
겨울이라서 너무 답답해서 나왔는데요. 공기도 좋고 너무 좋네요. 좋은 추억 남긴 것 같아서 좋아요. 잘 왔어요.
If you're tired of being cooped up, visit Pyongyang, where ice, snow, and trout are waiting to give you the time of your life. And now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow. Have a great day.